Hi again, it's me, Lilian Raji, fractional CMO, Global Communications Advisor, and founder of the PRadvisor.com. Happy to see you're back for the next class in the series. Good for you. But just a quick reminder, these YouTube videos only give you the fundamentals. The real breakthrough comes with the additional $1,500 in bonus materials that are available and waiting for you on the PRadvisor.com website. Go to the site now and register completely free to get these additional bonus materials. And the best part of it is you get a 20-minute call with me for us to discuss any questions you have about the customer journey series. So what are you waiting for? Head over to the PRadvisor.com website now, register, get your bonuses, and see you soon. Well, hello. You've made it. Welcome to the final class of this course, The Customer Journey, using PR to help customers find you. How are you feeling after all of the soul searching I've had you do? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling confused? Are you feeling inspired? I really hope you're feeling inspired. You will find a link on the dashboard for this class to schedule your 20-minute session with me where I want to hear everything, especially your feedback. Make sure you have all of your questions ready for me as 20 minutes does go by very fast, but don't worry, I'm not one to really hold on to that timeline, especially if you're having a great conversation. I want to make sure I'm able to give you clarity on any questions that have arisen throughout this course. So, and if I may be entirely honest with you, I love the idea and I love the opportunity to talk to my students and see how I can support your growth. Now, don't worry, this call is going to be entirely focused on you. It's not going to be a selling call because I know sometimes people schedule these things and they want to try and sell you more services. Don't worry, it's not going to be like that with me. This call is going to be entirely all about you. But don't be surprised if you get some additional advice beyond the scope of this course on how to help you continue growing your business. That is something about me that you're going to find during our conversation. You're going to find as part of my values. Anybody that surrounds me, anybody that's within my orb, anybody that supports me, even by you taking this class, I always want the best for you. And I always want to create opportunities for you to be your best. So I look forward to talking to you in this call. Get it scheduled. But for now, it's case study time. So, for this last class together, it's time to tie all of the work I've had you do together with our case study. You're about to learn how all that work can lead you to getting phenomenal press coverage. Now, one thing I can assure you when dealing with the press, it's that it's almost impossible to get the same publication to cover you more than once in a 12-month period. So, how do we get Danny Govberg, Govberg Jewelers, and WatchBox featured in 4 different New York Times articles, 3 Bloomberg, 2 Reuters, a CNBC interview, and a Wall Street Journal article all in 12 months? Using the exercises you've been going through over the past couple of classes. Govberg Jewelers and WatchBox is one of my favorite case studies because of the challenge Danny Govberg posed me at the very beginning of our engagement. A challenge none of you should have. He told me I could not go to watch or jewelry press because he already had existing relationships. He didn't want me to focus on press that he could get himself. I could only go to national, mainstream press where he had no existing relationships. In order to get the type of press we ultimately got for Danny's business, we needed a good story. This is why understanding your company and digging deep into your company history and background is so important. I spent hours talking with Danny beyond our original intake session, and with every conversation, I found a new angle to pitch that resulted in each subsequent article. This was the first article I got for him. And this article appeared on the front page of the New York Times Watch section, which, to make things even sweeter, was released on the very first day of the biggest watch industry trade show in the world, Baselworld, the show anyone who is anyone in the watch industry attends. And by the way, that is Danny on the front page cover. We're not going to go through how every article came about, but I do want to talk to you about the fourth New York Times article. When I work with clients, I speak with everyone in the company, usually in a one-on-one, so I can hear their ideas freely without them being censored by someone else in the room. One of the salespeople told me how he had a few customers who were treating watch buying and selling like a commodity. With this salesperson, I built a customer persona to understand how these type of customers were interacting with WatchBox. I was able to speak to some of them to get an understanding of the hobby they'd created with buying watches at low prices and selling when the watches appreciated in value. I then went to Paul Sullivan, the former Wealth Matters columnist at the New York Times, and shared with him these customer personas. At the time, Paul covered how the affluent use strategies to increase their wealth. Watches as a commodity? This was a no-brainer for him. Every media outlet and every journalist has different ways they like to work. Assuming you would like to get a front page article in the New York Times, I will focus on the rules of working with Main Street media. As I mentioned earlier, it is highly unlikely to get more than one coverage in a 12-month period as a privately owned consumer brand in any mainstream media. Obviously, as I've shown you, it's not impossible, but it is the rule. What I accomplished was the exception, and it required a lot of strategic thought. To be fair, it's the same journalist who won't cover you over a 12-month period, not specifically the same outlet. However, journalists have what are called beats. Beats are theirs, they own it, and they are generally the exclusive writer for that beat. They always need to have something fresh, which is why they won't consider you again in a relatively short period of time unless you're doing something else that they're already writing about. Victoria Gomelsky covers watches for the New York Times. She gave me the first Govberg New York Times article, the one that ended up on the front page of the watch section during the first day of Basel World. What you're looking at here is actually the third article she did for me, and the second one also to appear on the front page of the watch section during Basel World, and of course, again, on the first day of Basel World. And yes, that's Govberg's team you're seeing on that cover. Victoria gave me a total of 3 New York Times articles over a 12-month period. Why? Because I found more stories from Danny that was able to tie into something she was already planning to write about. The other way to get additional coverage is to go to a different beat. That's what I did with Paul Sullivan. I cannot stress to you enough the importance of knowing your company inside and out, always with fresh eyes, because old eyes will miss something an outsider may find unique. Victoria had just done our third front page article for me 2 months prior, so I knew I couldn't go back to her. But having done the customer persona, I realized Paul Sullivan would be a good target for what I just learned about the WatchBox customer, which is they were using watches as a commodity. Remember our survey discussion earlier? The results of that survey and what people are saying about you can also be used to pitch a story to the press. Know your company. Worksheets 2 and 3 are meant to help you with this. Know your customers. This is the purpose of yesterday's customer persona. What you learn about your customers will help you develop a narrative that will entice a journalist to cover you, especially when you can show the journalist your customers are the type to read their articles. Know what is being said about you. Again, the surveys, but don't forget what I told you about doing an internet search about your brand. And most important of all, know the press. From this day forward, save every article you read that you feel your company should have been included. Copy down the name of the writer and follow him or her on social media. I like to set up Google alerts for specific writers so I can always get email alerts on what their latest articles are covering. This is another golden rule. Know what your target journalists like to write about. That way, when something develops within your company, you know which journalists will be interested. As you build out your customer personas and you come to better understand why customers choose you, you'll be able to start identifying which journalist will be interested in hearing your story. Of course, there's a lot more to working with the press than what is covered in this course. I'll be working on a course covering press relations, but in the meantime, the PR Advisor website, Vault tab, has a lot of invaluable information. Don't forget to sign up for my free weekly newsletters while you're there. I'll be answering additional questions weekly through it. You're invited to email me any questions you want included in a future newsletter. Thank you so much for taking this course. And lastly, don't forget to schedule your free 20-minute call with me. I absolutely want to ensure you've gotten all of your customer journey questions answered, as well as any more that might help your company become greater than where it is right now. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking in this course. Thank you for believing in me to show you the way of doing a customer journey. Again, my name is Lilian Raji, president of the Lilian Raji Agency and founder of the PR Advisor. I wish you the greatest success in your business, and I look very much forward to talking with you soon.